Hello all, welcome to Photoguru. In this session, we are going to learn how to edit basement property. A basement is a part of a building that is either partially or completely below ground level. However, in cities such as London, due to demand for housing, the price of land and cost of moving, basements are being constructed or converted for living space. So before starting all editing steps, let's discuss few pointers on the raw images. For this one, I'm going to open today's folder and then raw folder. This room is on the first floor. It have a good brightness into it. We can clearly see in both light as well as in dark shot that white is the wall color. You can see if I zoom in. But we are not going to leave it too white, so we will add a good warmth to it. Some rooms of this property are made in the basement where there is less natural light source. So we are going to match the amount of warmth added to the basement shot to this room. Slight color cast uh, need to be done on walls because you can see that due to this light, the spotlight, there's too much of yellow. So it is not like there's too much of yellow, just light white balance can be done to maintain it. Rest alignment looks fine. No need to do item removal as the image looks pretty good. There is no item which is drawing attention. So and rest all looks good. Let's move on to the next image. This is the staircase area which shows the way to the basement and to the first floor. We have to balance the image in terms of detailing and brightness. For detailing, we have to bring out this area and onto the floor too. For brightness, we don't have to apply here too much to lit up this area. We have to try and maintain the blacks onto this part. If we remove too much of blacks from here, then we may have to deal with graining later on. Again, the wall is white in color and warmth need to be matched with basement room. The black item over here need to be removed as it draws the viewer attention. The floor color need to be checked from the dark exposure as you can see over here. This need to be matched. This is the basement room. If we look at the doors over here, we see lots of blue in which we have to apply warmth. We, we cannot leave blue in the area. If we do so, this image will look not inviting. We see yellow on the wall everywhere is because of the yellow lighting, and the wall color is white, but still we have to apply a bit of warmth to it. We're not going to leave this wall looks pretty white. Rest looks okay in this image. To show this is a basement room, we have another image which tells us this is a basement. Like this area, you can see in this image is actually this area, and above it there's a road, and this is the entrance gate over here. So this room is a basement room. You can see how much light is like entering into it. Same with this image. The work which we are going to do in previous image of the same room need to be done um, over here. The plus point is it will take less time in editing because it doesn't have window view. That is not long shot, it is just a detailed shot, so it will take a bit less time as compared to the previous one. Otherwise, the editing which we'll do in this one, we have to match it onto here. Same with this one. The warmth need to be equally distributed. It is not like we will leave too much of yellow to the bulb. Rest it need to be edited same as per previous image of the same room, and a bit of warmth can be applied over here onto the blues, and the excess yellow need to be reduced. Over here, this is a dark wall. You can see we have to leave it dark. If we try to remove the blacks, like in light shot, you can see it is already giving us too much of grains, and maybe we have to deal with the grains after that. So this is what we are going to deal with. Same with this image. The one thing which we have to do, which is even important also, is color consistency in all the images, because they are from the same room. So we have to maintain a consistency in terms of color as well as in terms of brightness. So it will like so, you know, it will look all same. If we are going to increase warmth onto this shot and reduce the warmth level in this one, then it gives viewer a different kind of attention that the images are being edited. That's the reason there is not a good consistency. So this is what we are going to follow up. The consistency thing is the major in all these images. So we have discussed all the issues in these raw images. So before starting, let's check out our style guide reference folder. Into that one, I already have uh, pasted one example onto that folder from our library, which have the same theme like the editing which we are going to apply on the image onto the today's folder. Same kind of editing you can see into this one. You can see the detail of the window is crisp enough. There is no sign of blues. The sharpness is pretty nice. We can see the detailing. We can see the bulb is not washing out. The warmth is pretty nice into this image. The alignment is good. So this kind of editing we are going to apply on today's folder. So let's just start with the editing process. Step 1, importing images Lightroom. For this, we have to open our today's folder, which I have already opened. We have to select our image, and then we have to drag and press Alt Tab to go to Lightroom library panel and drop it onto here. And then we have to press on import. Step 2, stacking. To stack the image, we have to select any of the image and then right click on it, go to stacking, auto stack by capture time. We have to put 2 as second. Like when we put 2, it shows us that there is one stack. Then we have to, if there is like more exposures, like one of this room then other of the other rooms, like around 3 stacks, then it could have shows us 3 stacks. Then you have to click on stack. You can see that the images has been stacked now, and it shows a number called 2 because it is a 2 exposure shot. If it is a 3 exposure shot, then it could have shows us 3 over here. So let's move on to the next step. Step 3, HDR merging. To merge the HDR, we have to press on the stacked image and then right click on it, go to photo merge and HDR. Here we have to check on auto align and auto settings. Auto aligns uh, uh, gives auto alignment to the images. Auto settings is like it applies auto setting overall to the image, but sometimes you can see that it doesn't give us a good quality sometimes. So we have to maybe turn off this thing at that time. So for now I'm just turning it off because I'm not getting a right look when I switch on the auto settings over here. So I'm switching it off for now. And then for degauss amount we have to select none for internals. For externals we have to even go for none, but sometimes while making the HDR in externals we see a ghost effect on leaves maybe, and maybe on some uh, like people's walking on the pedestrian, maybe cars are moving from point A to point B. So in that case, if we put none, we could have we may get a ghost kind of effect over there. So we have to put low, medium, and high accordingly. So let's click on the merge. So now our HDR has been made over here. You can see this is our HDR with .dng format. Now, as we can see that this image have a lot of issue into it. We see lots and lots of grains onto the walls. First of all, that is what we are going to solve. We see purple color aberration onto the edge of the window. We see lots of blue over here, and the blacks on the plants and over here on some areas is pretty high. Brightness needs to be applied over here, and like over here too. We will try and get rid of all these blacks because this is pretty high at this moment. The color we see some in some area we see a bit of green, red, yellow, and this is like not looking good. So we are going to balance up this color, and yeah, that is all we have to do for now. Alignment looks fine. There is no issue with the alignment, and yeah, alignment looks fine. Step 4, lens correction. So to do lens correction, we have to move on to develop module over here. If you drop down and go for lens correction tab over here, into that one we have to switch on remove chromatic aberration and enable profile correction. Remove chromatic aberration is done to remove excess uh, pink and green kind of color which we see sometimes in image, and enable profile correction is done to give some brightness onto the corners, which is known as vignetting. So over here we see that when we switch on enable profile correction, it automatically takes up the lens profile, like which camera make model has been used to click this picture. And over here we can, if you want, we can reduce a bit of vignetting according to us, but for now 100 is fine. So let's move on down. So in transform, we first of all have to switch on auto to see if it is making good kind of alignment in the picture. But sometimes it doesn't do the good kind of alignment. Like you can see that it is doing some wrong kind of alignment over here. So we are simply going to switch it off, and then we have to manually align it. First of all, we have to check the verticals. Okay, verticals looking good, and I think it is good enough. We don't have to do enough alignment with this one. Let's check on the constraint crop on. Constraint crop check on. We have to do this thing to crop off excess white border onto the edges of the picture. So this need to be checked on at the time. So let's move on to next step, which is step 5, tonal adjustment. So for this one, we have to scroll down, scroll up, and from here, uh, we can see that there are exposure by which we have to set up things, and contrast to increase the depth in the picture. So let's use these things. So first of all, I'm using exposure, slight exposure. We will try to lift up the blacks and shadows in the image to reduce the effect of the blackness into it. So let's remove a bit of more shadow. Okay, looks good. Slight blacks more, and this one. Let's drop down the highlight value. You know, the excess you drop down the highlight, you will see the image is converting into patches over here. So we have to gently and wisely use this thing, the highlight thing. For now, I think this much is fine to get the detail on some of the highlighted part. Again, let's check out the black and shadows. And let's now, whenever we use exposure, shadows, black, if we remove excess shadow and blacks, the image becomes hazy. So to reduce the haziness kind of effect, we have to increase the contrast, which will pitch up the blackness slight, and it's looking pretty fine. Okay, this is good enough. If we hit the Y button on the keyboard, we see before after window over here. So yeah, we see enough kind of brightness, which is looking good over here. The black has been lifted up, looks quite good, and yeah, looking good. While doing these adjustments, we also apply brush and masking in order to balance overall lighting. So from here we can take the brush, and we can simply increase the brightness, and we can apply like it. You know, always see that your flow is supposed to be less than 50, because if you will take more than 50, maybe you have to deal with the patches. So make sure it is pretty low, and always try to see that feather is supposed to be 100 for the smooth brushing, because if we take it like towards more zero, your brush will become more hard, and density, let it be like 100. Let's brush out the area where we need to apply a bit of whiteness. Done. Always see you have press on the done to end the tool. Let's move on to next step, which is step 6, white and color balance. So there is a tool called white balance selector over here. We can press W to select the tool. We have to take the casting from the white area, like all the wall is like white area. We can take casting from everywhere, but we also have to see that the area from where we are taking casting is supposed to be of mid-tone, not with too much of colors, not with less color, not too bright nor less bright. So that is like a mid-tone area. Whenever you move the brush over here, you can see the live result onto this tab over here. You can see that it is giving us the live result. Like if I am going to take the casting from the more yellow part, see, we are getting more blues if you look at on the window. So that's the reason we have to take mid-tone for a good casting. So here I see a mid-tone. Let's click on it. But it is not like that. We are going to get 100% of right white balance uh, onto the image. So for this, sometimes we have to adjust it manually. So way over here you can see the temperature and the tint -4. So let's drop down a bit of more tint because we see lots of redness. Let's make it -6. Let's hit the Y button to see what changes have been made. Okay, looks good. Let's press Y and drop down over here. You will see vibrance over here. When you scroll down, you can simply put it towards minus. And because you know why I'm using vibrance at the time, I see lots of different color cast onto the walls, so I just want that to be reduced equally. That's the reason I've selected vibrance. I'm not using saturation at the time because I don't want all the color to get removed from the area, because if we remove too much of colors with the help of saturation, maybe it will become, the area will become desaturated. So that's the reason I'm just reducing the intensity of color with the help of uh, vibrance over here. This much is pretty good. Let's again see by hitting the Y button for the preview window, for the before and after window, for the before and after window. Okay. To again close the before after window, you have to again press Y. Okay. Uh, Step 7, final touch-ups. In this step, we have to check overall color and tone. So if we look at again over here, we see lots of blue redness. We see lots of redness, and over here we see the brightness is gradually increased. So we will add up this thing, and also we are going to add some warmth to the door frame because this is looking too blue. So let's do it with the help of masking. I'm increasing a bit of temperature over here and applying it over here. Here I have applied a bit of warmth. You can see if I'm going to go to here, you can see my mask area, like the area where I have worked. Let's increase a bit of more warmth over here because I see lots of blue. Let's increase it. Okay, looks pretty good. Increase that, and I'm simultaneously I will reduce the color where I've got extra yellow with the help of minus brush. We can get the minus brush by holding the Alt button. We don't have to release it while holding, we have to use it. Done. Let's press on the done to close the tool. Now we are going to put some highlight and drop down the exposure value over here. So again take the brush, hit the new plus button and brush. Over here we will decrease a bit of exposure and a bit of highlight. Let's apply it. Okay. Apply a bit of warmth also. Slight warmth. is fine. Again hit done. Again take the plus brush, and from here we are going to use tint for the redness, and a bit of maybe slight saturation we can use to reduce the excess redness. Let's apply it. Hit the done button. Let's press Y. Now you can see that how much we have worked on these areas to remove the excess color cast. You can see over here that the blues has been removed, and over here also you will look at like we have reduced much more color to make it more even tone, which is looking good. Let's move on to step 8, which is maintaining consistency with same room shots. So to check the consistency, we have to go to the folder, and over here uh, we have to see the edited images, and these are the sister images. Let's check out. Okay, we are in the right track. You can see that the color is pretty much matching, but it is just the brightness which is not matching. This is what we have to match, and maybe we have to apply a bit of more warmth to the floor to match it. Let's see the next one. Okay, the brightness is only the issue, otherwise the color is looking fine. Okay, so now as we have seen the image, and we came to a conclusion that we have to apply brightness to the Photoshop. Maybe we will slightly remove a bit of more redness to this image, and the big thing is the noise is the main thing which we have to deal with, and we have to remove it completely. And a bit of blues still can be seen over here, that we will also remove, and a bit of sharpness need to be applied. So all these things need to be done in this image. Step 9, export with the right settings. To export the image, we have to right click on it, go to export and export. So here we see two things, which is quality 100% and resolution 300. This we have to put, and rest we don't have to touch. And then click on export. So our image has been exported. Let's go to the folder where the image is exported. So this is our image. Let's import it to Photoshop. So step 10 is importing in Photoshop. Again, drag and press Alt tab and go to the Photoshop and drop it over there. So in this image, as you can see that we have to correct many more issues. First of all, the graining issue is like a main thing which we have to resolve. Remove all the grains. We again see like there is some blues onto the door frame over here that need to be removed, and brightness can be applied onto here, which is looking dark, and even there is a need of warmth on this area because this is looking pretty desaturated, and some areas still have colors like this that need to be removed. We have to apply some warmth over here. uh, Alignment looks fine. This thing need to be cropped out, or maybe we have to stamp it. So rest looks fine. So step 11 is adjustment, like brightness, control, light bleed adjustment, white balance, color balance, noise reduction, sharpness. So all these things need to be done in this image. The first thing is, let's start with the brightness. So to apply the brightness, we have to go to the adjustment layer over here, and we have to go to brightness and contrast. From here, we have to slightly increase the contrast. From here, from here we have to increase the brightness, and then close it. Control I to invert the mask. Take the brush from here, or else you can press B to activate the brush. Opacity always supposed to be 12, so uh, so there will be no patches. If you increase the opacity like by 40 or 50%, and beyond that, maybe you will see a bit of patches. So it's better you just take it as 12 opacity, flow 100, and smoothing 0. So let's take the white as a foreground color, because white is always known as to reveal and black is always known as to hide. So I'm slightly applying the brightness onto areas where it is required. Okay, we will revert the foreground color, and we will take back the brightness which we have applied mistakenly onto the lights. Okay, this is fine. Okay, looks good. Let's go for light bleed adjustment. I don't see any light bleed over here, so we will leave this option, and we will move on to the white balance. So to get white balance done, we have to take the duplicate of this layer. By hitting Ctrl J, you can duplicate the layer, and Ctrl M to open the curves. To take the casting, again we have to take the mid-tone area. So here, by pressing Ctrl and Shift, you have to click on it. Then over here you will see red 181, green 178, and blue 161. So red is the highest value over here. We have to copy this value and paste it onto the green, and then we have to paste it onto the blue. So now as you can see that we have applied the, we have you know give the values onto the respective colors. You can see that we have got some casting over here which is pretty like blue, because this have excess yellow into it. So again we have to take the mask layer, Control I to invert, take the brush, and foreground as white. We will start applying it onto the areas where there is like lots of warmth into it. To merge it, we have to right click on it and merge down. You can even press Control it to merge it. Let's go to color balance. To balance the color overall, firstly we have to check that what color our images have. So I've taken the duplicate layer and Control U to open hue saturation. If you want, you can also open from here from the adjustment panel, and you simply have to increase the saturation. So you will see that you have got some green over here, blues and green, and a bit of red and yellows. So we are going to balance this one. We are going to remove a little bit of green and blues from here. I'm deleting the above layer. Now to remove greens, what we can do, we can simply open the, to make the duplicate of this layer, and go to filter, camera raw. So from here we are going to increase the tint. The tint is going to suppress the green color if we move it towards red, the magentas. If we move it towards the green, we will see the intensity of green is being increased. So we have to wisely increase it, and then increase a bit of temperature with a bit of vibrance down. Maybe a little less we want that thing. Okay, this is fine. Create the mask, Control I to invert, take the brush, now apply it. Control E to merge. Again, taking duplicate of this layer, go to filter, camera filter, and from here, and this time I'm reducing the redness in this image, so slightly decreasing it towards green and slight vibrance down. Okay, let's leave it overall, so it will balance the redness. Control E to merge. Now we will do noise reduction. To reduce the noise, we again are going to create the duplicate of the background layer. Go to filter, noise, and now we have to do noise reduction. To reduce the noise, we have to create the duplicate of the background layer. Go to filter, camera filter, and from here we have to zoom in a bit to see the noise, and then go to detail, noise reduction. You have to increase the slider. Okay, it's pretty well. Maybe if this is like 100 and you still see a bit of grains over here, what you can do, you can slightly reduce the detail, but don't use it too much, that this is going to make your image looks oil pasting kind of thing. So it's better you have to wisely use this section. So details less, press OK. Now we don't have to leave it overall, so for this thing we have to take the mask, Control I to invert, take the brush with opacity 30-40 like this, and you have to 100% apply it, and you have to 100. We take brush and with opacity 40 we have to apply it. Why I'm applying 40% of the opacity with 40%, why I'm applying this onto the planes is because the walls are plain, there is no texture onto the wall, so I can simply apply it. Even though onto here we can apply here, I think we can apply slight over here onto the leaves. Okay, so I've removed the grains from this image. Control E to merge. After noise reduction, sometimes we see our image looks pretty soft. So to maintain the sharpness into it, we have to apply sharpness. To apply the sharpness, we have to create a duplicate of the background layer. Go to filter, sharpen and unsharp mask. Always check the amount is 160 and radius 2. Threshold, leave it 0 and press OK. Okay, I can see that where I'm applying this sharpness, on some places I see more grains now, so it's better I just take the mask and Control I to invert. Now we have to apply it selectively onto some areas so we don't see grains into our picture. Control it too much. Step 11, adjustment like brush control, light bleed. Now step 12, item removal. As I said that we have to remove this item. So to remove this item, we have to hit S for stamp tool. If we want, we can selectively activate it from here, and then we have to press Alt and click any click the nearby area to get the sampling of it, and then we can simply click and drag, click and drag. So in this way you can remove the object which need to be removed. So I've removed the object. Now step 13 is self QA. So to QA this image, we need our images, we need the the sister images to maintain the consistency into it. Even though sometimes we have to look at the raw images to see the exact color, but for now we have our edited images which we have accurately edited before. So let's check it out. This is the image. Okay, let's check ours. Okay, this is pretty much same, but I think there is a need of whiteness in in this picture because it is looking a bit dull now for now. And also the second thing is we need to add up some contrast to remove this haziness kind of look. So let's do it. To remove this haziness kind of look, what we can do, we can take the duplicate of the background layer and then go to the filter, camera filter. From here, go to the basic panel and then slightly increase the contrast into it. You can see that tab increased, and now if you will look at, the haziness is like getting off from this image. So we have to apply it accordingly, and then slight blacks and shadows will work. Slight vibrance down to again reduce a bit of colors, and slight whiteness with a bit of contrast. Okay, let's check out our image. Okay, this is pretty much matching, looks fine to us, and let's switch it on and off. Okay, let's leave it overall because this is looking pretty good to us. Okay, right. So step 14 is resize. To resize this image, we have to go to image and image size. Now we have to switch on the constraint crop on, right, 2500 over here, and below we get automatically 1667. So this is the height dimension we have to put. But sometimes we see that we get 1 pixel up or down. To maintain that one, you have to switch it off and then manually put 1667. Sometimes what you get is like you get 1 pixel up or down. To maintain that thing, you have to switch it off, then manually correct it by putting the value like this, and then press OK. So this is how we edit image of the basement flat. This is what we send to our client. Thank you.